The S-Blast 92 blaster and the new Salmon Run stage jam in Salmon Junction has debuted today in Salmon Run, and since it is a brand new weapon, naturally it is time to evaluate whether the S-Blast 92 is a good weapon in Salmon Run or not. If you're interested in even more Salmon Run content and guides, make sure to subscribe. The S-Blast 92 is a special new blaster introduced with Sizzle season, as it is the first of its kind with a double fire mode that also makes it a somewhat technical weapon to use. It fires once every 60 frames, exactly like the range blaster, and deals 300 damage on a direct hit, which is the highest damage among blasters, combining these two into having the same DPS of 300 as the highly favored Luna blaster. The two firing modes are the standing shot, which gives you equal range like if you were a range blaster, but with even smaller blast radius, or you can shoot while jumping, which is the same range as the Luna blaster, with an also massive blast radius. Additionally, the S-Blast deals 150 damage with its indirect blasts, which is also a very respectable amount, capable of splitting chumps for instance, making it an excellent lesser clear in its jumping short range mode. Learning to use both firing modes on demand and switching them up depending on the situation is a must to fully unlock the weapon's power, which is why I would put it among the more technical weapons in Salmon Run. Now you could say it has the same range as the range blaster and also the AoE and the damage of a Luna blaster. Isn't this weapon then just straight up better? Currently, I'm inclined to agree with that, since the S-Blast did not carry over its ink-hungry nature from PvP, where it can only shoot 10 times, and can shoot the same 20 times like most other blasters, which is something I expect to change in the future, since this is just too good. With that said, the ability to swap between short range and long range so easily opens up the S-Blast to be extremely powerful against quite a large number of Salmon Run bosses, so let's take a look at them. The most obvious use of the S-Blast is spamming your jumping short-range attacks against lesser salmonids, very much like the Luna Blaster, becoming an absolute lesser clearing monster, so whenever you see a bunch of lessers while playing the S-Blast, I hope you know what to do. These guys will melt from your shots. The other most obvious boss candidate is for the normal long-range shots, as 300 damage is just enough to instantly splat steelhead bombs, and with the excellent range we have, this is another no-brainer strength of the S-Blast. While the short range is really short, the large blast radius it gives you to your shots are also very valuable and allows you to splat fish sticks from the ground with only 2 to 3 shots, a very valuable boss counter and also possibly one of the best weapons to deal with them. I wasn't sure about this one until I played a little bit more, but the S-Blast also has a relatively decent on-demand painting, as with your jumping attacks you can also easily paint a flipper-flopper circle with once again around 2 or 3 shots. I found it to be more often 3 than 2, but I never had trouble finishing the paint in time, so I'm confident in this strength as well. If we're talking about a blaster, we can of course not forget about stingers, and you have 2 options here as both of them are excellent. The long range mode, if you can't afford to get closer or you're in a hurry, I believe still has a decent blast radius to splat stingers in about 3 shots. But if you have the time and the shores are safe, the short range attack can one-shot a stinger by aiming to the middle of it, splatting every single pot with a single attack, bringing in the standard blaster strength against them. A little bit tricky but still good matchup for the S-Blast are Drizzlers. Now, Drizzlers have an approximately 3 seconds vulnerability window, which is a little bit tight for a lot of weapons, but if you're at decent range, the S-Blast is able to one-cycle Drizzlers too if you're pre-firing at them to have a little bit of time advantage, but I would say that's another box ticked. The rest of the bosses unfortunately would require either better ink efficiency or more damage for me to call them good matchups, so basically big shots, scrappers, maws, flyfish, and it is still pretty good against Laminlids or Steel Eels depending on the stage or the circumstances, but I would say the S-Blast at least isn't weak against any of the Salmonids, which is already fantastic for a weapon's versatility. My first thoughts are that the S-Blast is a great addition to Salmon Run. It's a really fun weapon to play, with some added technicality with a double fire mode, but also the ink consumption it has. So while it is pretty strong, yes, you still have to play careful with it or you will easily get overwhelmed. Hope this quick guide will help you have a clear picture about the weapon and its strengths. Hope it helped and you enjoyed the video, but that's a wrap for now, coworkers. Take care, and I'll see you the next time.